System.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Moonride System YouTube channel. This is Noah, and yep, we are doing another episode of our Diving into Movies series where we talk about movies that we've seen and movies that we haven't seen. So yeah, in this episode we are going to be talking about Spaceballs, released in 1987. And yeah, before I begin, I have to say that this first part of the video will be spoiler free, where we talk about the cast, the synopsis, year it came out, rating, and some of the music. And then later in the video will be the spoiler part, where basically I talk about what we like about the movie and stuff like that. But yeah. And then at the end of the video I say where it lands on, well, for films that we've seen, it's a popcorn scale of 1 to 5. 1 meaning we're not too eager to watch it again, and 5 meaning that we are, well, 5 meaning we'll absolutely watch it again. And, well, this movie we're covering is our favorite movie of all time, so you'll probably know where that will land. But, yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this. Alright, so for this episode, like I said, we are covering Spaceballs, released in 1987, and it is rated PG according to IMDb. Yep, if you want to know where we're getting our information for these films, it's most likely IMDb, unless we say otherwise. But yep, Spaceballs, released in 1987, rated PG, and this is sci-fi, comedy, adventure, space, sci-fi, slapstick, etc. They have some more listed on IMDb, but that's all I'm gonna list for now. So let's get into the synopsis of Spaceballs. I have to zoom in a bit so I can see it better. Alright. Synopsis for Spaceballs. A star pilot for hire and his trusty sidekick must come to the rescue of a princess and save planet Druidia from the clutches of the evil Spaceballs. So, that is the synopsis for Spaceballs. Okay, let's get into the casting. Alright, so the casting include Mel Brooks. He plays President Scroob and Yogurt. John Candy as Barf. Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet. Bill Pullman as Lone Star. And that's all I'm going to say for this video. But of course, when making a film, there's a lot of amazing talents that go into making a film. But if we list all of the casting, we'd be here all day. So, alright, so with the synopsis and the casting out of the way, it's time to talk about some of the music. Um, so for the music, there are two vocal tracks that come to mind right away. One of them is Raise Your Hands by Bon Jovi, and the second one, Heartstrings by Berlin. And they're really good in this film. I believe, like, when I'm watching the film personally, I get all hyped up when I hear Raise Your Hands by Bon Jovi. But that's just me. Heartstrings by Berlin is nice too. That one's a good song too. But when it comes to listening to the soundtrack, like listening to songs that were in the film, when not watching the film, I'd say I'm more likely to listen to Raise Your Hands by Bon Jovi. And yeah, we will get into like the spoiler part of this review pretty soon. But yeah, Bon Jovi's Raise Your Hands and Berlin's Heartstrings are two vocal tracks that come to mind, but then there's other ones that I'm not sure the name of, but yeah. As far as instrumental tracks, there's quite a few good ones. Unfortunately, I do not know the name of them, but the instrumental tracks are really great in this film as well. So, yep, really love the music in this one. Alright, so we talked about the synopsis as well as the genres and the casting and the music. Now, it is time to get into the spoiler part of this review. If you have not seen Spaceballs, I recommend you go watch it because it's absolutely amazing. It's beyond amazing. Now, here's a bit of a warning before we get into this spoiler part of this video, is that there may be, like, when we're going over our favorite parts of the film, there may be some words that we don't normally say, but we are only saying them because they're part of the scenes we're trying to recall from this film. But yeah, heads up for that, for minor explicit language, but there won't be a lot of explicit language, so just in a few scenes that we are going to recall. And yeah. Alrighty. As much as I don't want to spoil this amazing film for you, being that you're probably watching this, you've already seen it, most likely. If not, again, what are you doing? Go find it and watch it. But basically, the story of Spaceballs is Princess Vespa is supposed to get married to this prince. Yeah, this prince that he's really, really tired, apparently. I think his name was Prince Valium. Yeah, probably. If you know, comment below and correct me if I'm wrong, but yep, Princess Vespa is supposed to get married to a prince that she doesn't love, and she runs away into space, not knowing that there's dangerous people in space. She doesn't know that the Spaceballs are trying to steal her planet's air. Yep. So then, Lone Star and his sidekick Barf have to go on a rescue mission to rescue her from the Spaceballs. And along the way, Lone Star and Vespa have some friction, but they warm up to each other, and then they crash land on this planet where they meet Yogurt, played by Mel Brooks, and Yogurt shows Lone Star the Schwartz. So then, when they're all asleep, the Spaceballs come and Dark Helmet pretends to be Vespa's father to lure her out, and he captures her as well as Dot Matrix. And then Lone Star and Barf have to rescue her again have to go rescue her from the Spaceballs. And then after that, it's a really happy ending, mostly. So that's the story, and now we are going to get into some of our favorite scenes once I get a drink of water here. So, our favorite scenes. Well, we have quite a lot of favorite scenes. We mostly watch this all the way through because it's absolutely amazing. The only part that we usually skip is this one towards the end where Lone Star and Barf are in a diner, and they have this one scene that they have like a reference to a movie that we don't watch because it's a horror movie. But other than that one skip, we watch it straight through. There's also this one part where the Spaceballs are like shooting warning shots at Vespa's spaceship, and and he's like, Dark Helmet is like, how many assholes do we have on this ship anyhow? And he turns around and everyone is like, yo! And he's like, I knew it! I'm completely surrounded by assholes! That's really funny. And there's also this great part where Lone Star and Barf have to get the princess and Dot Matrix from the ship, but first they have to find a way to destroy the radar so that the Spaceballs don't have visual of them. So basically they jam it with raspberry jam. Yep, it's like, radar about to be jammed, and all of a sudden some raspberry jam just right into the radar. There's this part in the desert where Vespa and Lone Star are having like a tender moment, just talking to each other, and they're leaning in like they're about to kiss, and all of a sudden there's this loud alarm from Dot Matrix, and here it was Virgin Alarm. That one is just priceless. And at the end, when Vespa and Lone Star get married, she's like, "Goodbye, Virgin Alarm." Oh yeah, there was this one part with President Scroob that I laugh at every time. Like, he was trying this beam where it teleports him to this room he needed to go to, and his head gets put on backwards. So then okay, minor explicit language here, but he unzips his pants and looks at his butt, and he's like, "Why didn't someone tell me my ass was so big?" That's funny. That one's priceless. And then when he gets teleported back to his office, he basically walks to the other room, and here it's like the next room. Like, what? That's funny. I will say one more of this because I'm basically spoiling the whole thing here, but one of our favorite scenes of this movie is when the Spaceballs are trying to catch up to Lone Star, and at first Colonel Sanders is saying, "Prepare for light speed," and then Dark Helmet is like, "Light speed too slow," and he's like, we have to go to ludicrous speed," and everyone is looking at him like, "Ludicrous speed? Sir, I don't know if the ship can take it." Well, that's what Colonel Sanders says, and this funny quote in this film is like, what? The quote that I'm about to say here is, "What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?" And oh my goodness, that makes me laugh every time for some reason. Oops. Yeah, that's and then once they start going, Colonel Sanders says, "Sir, you better buckle up," and he refuses the Dark Helmet refuses to buckle up, and he's like, "I'll buckle this. Ludicrous speed. Go!" And then that's when basically before they start going, that's when Colonel Sanders warns him that he better buckle up, and he refuses to buckle up. So then he's like, he's trying to hang on. He's telling Colonel Sanders to stop the ship. He flies into another side. It's like, wow. So then they help him up, and after he says that for them to take a break, he's like, well, I can't remember the exact quote. I think it's "smoke if you got 'em" or something like that. And after he says that, he just knocks out, like he goes, like falls forward and boom. Yeah, there's so many fun scenes in this film that I absolutely love, and well, most of us really love, and it's just classic masterpiece. Cannot say that enough. So that's all we're gonna say about this film for right now. And where does it land on the popcorn scale? I'd say a 5 out of 5. Yeah, 5 out of 5 on the popcorn scale, because I cannot say this enough, but Spaceballs is one of our favorite movies of all time. And if you like comedy or sci-fi and want something awesome to watch, definitely find this wherever you can and watch it. And yeah. Oh, the disc is not in here because I literally just got done watching it before this video, but yeah. But that's all for this video about Spaceballs. Definitely watch it if you haven't. I know I keep saying that, but do that. And then if you have watched it and really enjoy it and it's been a while, watch it again. I cannot stress enough how this is an absolute masterpiece and a classic. It's alright if you disagree and you don't really care for this film, but for us, this is our favorite, one of our favorite films of all time, and we'll never get tired of watching it. Thank you for watching this episode of Diving Into Movies, where we talked about Spaceballs, released in 1987. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Alright, with cheers and love, everyone. We'll see you in another video. Goodness, we gotta start talking slower, because otherwise we get tongue-tied, but yeah, we'll see you in another video, and hope y'all have an awesome day.